I have a couple of things. First, I am reappointing Deb Neely to the Aurora Housing Authority, and you all finaled the I'm sorry. Yes, you finaled the ordinance on expanding the Housing Authority. And while that ordinance will not go into effect until mid-June, I'm announcing the appointments now when it does go into effect. And I will be appointing Ray Barnes and former State Senator Regis Groff to the 2 seats. So they will be the appointees to the newly expanded Aurora Housing Authority. I also think it's appropriate, I know at this time Mr. Richardson has an announcement he'd like to make, so I will devote my opportunity to you.
Thank you. Mayor, on Friday, this last Friday, I heard 3 words from one of my staff members that I thought that I never wanted to hear while I was city attorney. And while you're guessing what those 3 words could be, they came from someone who is considered by his peers in the entire state of Colorado to be the most preeminent legal counsel to a governmental entity in the area of planning and development. I've seen him go toe-to-toe with the most sophisticated and sometimes ruthless private sector attorneys, and this individual held his ground. He always looked to the city's best interests, and I regret to inform City Council that Deputy City Attorney Bob Rogers said 3 words to me, and those were, "I am retiring." So just wanted to...
You denied that.
Yeah, I wish I could turn him down, but it's going to be a huge loss to the city, huge. And I asked him, if you know Bob, I said, do you want to have any ceremonies or recognition of your 30 years of dedicated service? And if you know Bob, that was met with just a silent stare. And I said, well, Bob, I had to ask, how about a lunch in the office? And he repeated the same stare at me. So I have announced today to my staff I'm soliciting a replacement for him. I will let council know on my decision as soon as possible. But it's been great working with Bob. I wish, if you would like to personally express your feelings about his service to the city, you're certainly welcome to do so using private means of communication. And if he could watch this tonight, I would have been too afraid to even make this public announcement, but I don't believe they have Comcast Aurora Council meetings in the West Side.
Well, even though Bob may not be watching, some of his friends and associates may well be, and I would like to say, Bob, we will miss you more than you will ever know. Councilmember Clellan.
I too would like to make a couple of comments. I've known Bob since 1979, 1980, when I was a planning commissioner for the city, and he was the legal counsel for the planning commission. And I will tell you, I learned more about planning from Bob Rogers as to what he was so great in working with the applicants and also the planning commissioners and letting us know both sides of what our legal responsibilities and how far we could go both ways as far as working with an applicant and the city. And in my mind, he was probably he is one of the most fair attorneys to both the private sector and the city. He tells you the way it is, and he tells you really straight. So I will miss him. I will miss his very, very, very dry sense of humor. Very dry.
Very dry. Reports by council. Councilmember Hunter Holen.
Thank you. I would like to appoint Kim Harrell to the Citizens Advisory Budget Committee. And I'd also like to share that the Pinnacle Assurance and Volunteers of America are giving out free fans to seniors who are 60 years or older, and all you need to do is call Amelia at 303-297-0408, and you'll get a free fan. It's first come, first serve, and they'll be delivering between June 4th and June 15th. Thank you.
Councilmember Miller.
Thank you. I would like to say congratulations to all the Aurora Scholars. Several of us were there last week or the week before. It's been a while, I think. But since the last meeting, but congratulations to all our very hardworking students. Tomorrow night from 6 to 8 p.m., we're going to have the Ward 1 Town Hall for May. It's going to be at the Aurora Center for Active Adults on Delmar from 6 to 8 p.m. We have several different products that we're going to be talking about or issues we're going to be talking about. And then Wednesday, May 16th at 6 p.m. at North Middle School, we're going to have a meeting about potential Montview Boulevard improvements. So we're really trying to get all the input from homeowners in that area. So please come out to North Middle School Wednesday, May 16th if you'd like to talk about potential Montview improvements. And then we have a lot going on in Ward 1, but I'll cap it with 2 events coming up in the very next few weeks. We have the Colfax Marathon the weekend of 19 and 20 May. You can go to runcolfax.org. We're going to have a half marathon, a full marathon, there's a relay, we have corporate cups, and I think there's, instead of municipal cup, I think it's called government cup this time. But anyway, come cheer people on. We have a lot of entertainment that we'll be setting up in North Aurora to really showcase North Aurora. We're going to have 7,000 runners coming in, running through Fire Station number 1 and around Colfax up over 17th and back into Denver. And our Visit Aurora folks have been very hard at work along with the Aurora Arts District to try and get some entertainment out there for folks. So come cheer people on, make some noise. And finally, on May 19th, on the Anschutz campus, we're going to have the Gift of Life and Breath 5K. It's become an Aurora classic, and it's been here for the past probably 4 or 5 years. Proceeds from the Gift of Life and Breath go directly to lung cancer research on the University of Colorado campus here in our own city. So it's a big deal. The funds are specifically dedicated to research in order to find a test, an early detection test for lung cancer, because right now a repeatable test, a successful test doesn't exist for lung cancer, and that's why it's one of the most deadly forms of cancer out there. So if you want to walk a 5K, run a 5K, I can't say enough about how great this Gift of Life and Breath 5K is. Come out and join us May 19th. Thanks.
Councilmember Peterson.
Well, I just wanted to say, as cranky as I am, I'm very grateful about the rain.
Well, glad we could make you happy. I guess I'll go along with
Councilmember Markey.
Frankie. I just had a couple of things. You'll get the Wednesday night awards, Councilmember Pierce. I'll go forward then. On Saturday, the 12th, 2 things going on. The Aurora Historical Commission put a program in place for honoring things that aren't quite historic landmarks, but are worthy of historic designation. The first award ceremony will be for the Grange at 2025 Tower Road. The ceremony's at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And while you're hanging out in Ward 2 in Reenie's area, hang around, trot across the street to Bethel Lutheran Church at 1:30 for a Mother's Day tea, with all the proceeds benefiting the Aurora Interchurch Network, which has been providing food and shelter for hundreds and hundreds of Aurorans for forever, or at least since Reenie and I can remember. So one other thing, next week, Thursday the 17th, here in the courtyard between this building and the police building at 11:45 is an annual ceremony that the city joins in uniting and honoring those who have died in the line of service for the police department. And that community honoring would be enhanced by other people joining us and attending as well. Thank you.
Councilmember Laguerre. Nothing today, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Plummer.
Thank you, Mayor. On Friday, Mayor Hogan asked me to go out to the Rocky Mountain Arsenal, and there was a dedication. The Rocky Mountain Arsenal is now the Rocky Mountain National Wildlife Refuge, of which Secretary Salazar was here, Governor Hickenlooper was here, Senator Udall was there, Mayor Hancock, and Congressman Perlmutter were there speaking about what the Rocky Mountain Arsenal has now become. And I think one of the interesting facts is it is the largest wildlife refuge, the largest national wildlife refuge in the United States. With approximately 24 square miles, 15,000 acres. So I just think it's kind of neat that we now have that designated as a national refuge site. And having been, I had not been out there, gosh, since my childhood. And I have to say they have done just an absolutely wonderful, beautiful job with the arsenal. And it's a good place to go and walk and see all sorts of wildlife. So it was nice.
Councilmember Broome.
Thank you, Mayor. My next Ward 6 town meeting is going to be on Thursday, May 24th at 7 o'clock at Towns Reach Library. The city's budget for next year will be discussed along with several proposed highway improvements to Arapahoe Road and Gun Club Road. So if you have any thoughts, please come to the meeting and we'll share those with you. Thank you.
Councilmember Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor. Myself and several council members attended the Dr. Cog Awards, and Dr. Cog is the Denver Regional Council of Governments, and a couple of our folks on the city staff received awards. One of them was for the Community Outreach and Public Education, which recognizes exceptional and creative efforts to inform and involve the public in educational campaigns about local government projects and issues. And the Bronze Award went to Marianne Bonnell, who works for our natural resources. She's a natural resources specialist, and that award was for the Urban Coyote Safety and Awareness Program. And along with her, the co-recipient of that award was Stuart Breck from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which also worked on that program. The second award was the Distinguished Service Award, presented to honor, recognize, and thank the people who have given their time, talents, and skills to the Denver region and its communities, and to Dr. Cog programs and activities. And so one of the award winners for that was Dave Chambers, who's our Public Works Director for the city. So congratulations to Dave and Marianne for receiving these awards at Dr. Cog. Thank you.
Councilmember Berzins.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you Overland students are here, because I want you to verify what I'm about to say. I went to Overland last week for your award ceremony. This was a ceremony that lasted about 2 hours. The auditorium was absolutely packed with students. For 2 hours, they gave out awards and scholarships to students. Now, Overland is supposed to be, correct me if I'm wrong, the most diverse high school or school west of the Mississippi, the most diverse. And this room was full of kids getting awards and scholarships. The seniors were getting scholarships. So believe me, if you hear anybody say that diverse students are not doing good in school, that's not true, or else Overland is doing a wonderful job. Just wonderful. And just for an example, there were 13 kids that were semifinalists getting Daniels Fund scholarships. Now, if you've ever been put in an application or know of somebody that has, they are so hard to get. Overland had 13 semifinalists, and they had 7 winners. 7 winners of Daniels Fund scholarships. That's just unheard of. And they had one fella that got, I wish I knew his name, I'm sorry, got a scholarship all the way through his PhD, any school in the world that he wanted to go. I mean, that was just, it was crazy. So thank you. Thank you, Principal Lundy. Leon Lundy's the principal, the vice principals, and all the staff, all the teachers that are there in the trenches with the kids day in and day out. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Councilmember Roth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item, as long as we're bragging about students. Attended a luncheon the other day where the Comcast gave out scholarships for high achievers in the area. They give out 50 scholarships of one denomination, and they choose 2 people from the entire state of Colorado to get a $10,000 scholarship. And one of the 2 people in the state that they chose was a young lady who's a senior at Rangeview High School. Her name is Nina De La Rosa, and actually Mayor Pro Tem Quallen and I were able to award her the big check that I'm sure that the bank will accept. And it was really an honor, again, to be able to recognize one of our local students for just a job well done.
All right, next we have one more public invited to be heard. Is there anyone else who wishes to address council this evening? Seeing no one, we are adjourned.